Shalom. You tune into another episode with Priestly Captain Natazak Nashada ISUPK under Commander General Yohana in the state of Virginia. And you tune into another episode of the Former of All Things, the Salt of the Earth series, where we highlight the inventions that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans have made that are completely Black inventions that have revolutionized the entire planet. We're going to jump straight into it. Of course, in Matthew chapter 5 and 13, like we always go over, where the Bible says, Jake, you understand, ye are the salt of the earth. These 12 tribes, God's chosen people, the salt, the creators of the earth. You understand? The salt of the earth, give the earth its flavor, its skill. Everything that changes and revolutionizes the planet comes from these 12 tribes, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Are God's chosen people. You listed on this sign, so-called Haitians, Puerto Ricans, El Salvadorians, Mexicans, Guatemalans, Peruvians, Native Americans, Afro-Americans, West Indians, Haitians. We are God's chosen people, you understand? And today we're going to get into one of the most prolific inventors, you understand, that completely revolutionized not only the world, revolutionized definitely America. This brother here that is so criminally unknown because we have not been educated about ourselves, because Martin Luther King had us integrate, where we got an integrated education learning how great our oppressors were, and never got an education learning about the great things that we did after spending hundreds of years in slavery and counting underneath of our oppressors. The brother we're going to talk about today is Charles Chuck Harrison. You understand? Charles Chuck Harrison. Here's this brother's picture when he was younger. He is an inventor. Get out my head out the way so you can see him. This is him here. He is an inventor, pioneer for his role in African-American industrial designers. He was born in 1931 from the 1930s in Shreveport, Louisiana. This is who we need to learn about. He was one of the most important designers. He was an industrial designer, meaning that the things that he designed were mass produced and became a mainstay, a part of America, a part of the world to this day. Wait till you find out what he invented. He interviewed for a job at Sears. It was Roebuck was the parent company. Of course, Sears is not as big and as popular, Roebuck neither, but he interviewed in the 50s. They wasn't going to let him there because he was Black, which is very important to learn, that all of the adversity that our people had to face with all of this greatness and ability that the world would never have simply because of them discriminating against us because we were Black. And even yet instilled that this was a common practice, this brother fought his way in the inventions that he did make, all while not being wanted to work somewhere. They didn't want him there because he was Black. And once they let him in, he was an absolute gold mine, just like the Egyptians did not want us in Egypt because we were sheep herders. And sheep herders were an abomination to the Egyptians. They despised us. You understand? He invented the picture tube, the Master View toy. You had one of these toys when you were a kid. You would look into the binoculars, and all of these different swatches had a different picture, a different image. You couldn't go anywhere. Disney World, Busch Gardens, Mickey Mouse, everybody had these picture tube toys. They were extremely popular. You understand? He is the brother that invented the Master View toy. You understand? While working for Sears Roebuck, this thing went worldwide, all across America for sure, completely revolutionized what toys you gave to your kids, man. That was this Black man. When the Bible says in Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 16, that Jacob is the former of all things and Israel is the rod of his inheritance, it is talking about this one family of people, not Africans, not Asians, Arabs, or East Indians, but God's chosen people. Mind you, we don't have our language, our culture, our diet, our records, our names, our God. Everything about us has been stripped from us. And yet, in still a few decades out of slavery, look at what we created. Look at what's inside of our brains and our greatness that is not inside of the other people. That's why Deuteronomy 7:6 says, God said, for thou art a holy people, and the Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. This Black man invented this in a society that did not want him to be included because he was Black. Even after hundreds of years of getting free labor from Black people, they let this brother in and he absolutely took off. But the greatest invention here, most people will never even know, is this right here, easily overlooked, the plastic trash can. You understand the plastic trash can? You don't have a home, a job, or office, a restaurant, or fast food places. Even your city streets are lined with these plastic trash cans to take the trash out of your house and put them in the trash bin. These plastic trash cans, Charles Harrison, this brother invented the plastic trash can. Imagine how many places you go where you see a plastic trash can. Every city, neighborhoods, outside of the malls, schools, offices, you understand, warehouses, everywhere you go, the standard is to put trash. You recycling. Everything is going in the trash bin. Well, the trash cans used to be big, heavy metal containers. They are no longer big, heavy metal containers because this Black man invented the plastic trash can. Do you know how big that is? You know how heavy those old trash cans were? He invented this plastic trash can. They're everywhere now. You don't have a household complete without it, a neighborhood, a city. These things are everywhere. Well, a Black man named Charles Harrison is the reason why you have plastic trash cans all over everywhere. When the Bible says, ye are the salt of the earth, you give the earth its flavor, its inventions, its power. These things come from one family of people, not everybody, not all people. This is another episode of the Bible talking about who God said is the former of all people, his chosen people. Charles Harrison out of Shreveport, Louisiana, born in the 1930s. This is a picture of his brother. You understand, the former creator, the father of all things, just like the Bible says, Jeremiah 10:16, Matthew 5:13, Deuteronomy 7:6. This is who we should be learning about. We weren't taught about him in school. We learned about the civil rights marches and Martin Luther King's speech for 28 days, and we learned nothing about our people and what our contributions to the world are. The Bible says that no account have been made of our labors. You understand? We are supposed to be educating ourselves about the great things that we have put into the world and society, but our religious institutions are not trying to teach us about being Black. They're trying to teach us that race does not matter, so that we go learn how great Superman and Spider-Man and Batman are. And then when we need someone to look up to about how great we are, we don't even know the greatest people on the face of the earth, the people written about in the Bible. Jesus, the disciples, the apostles, the prophets are all Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. We don't even know these things. The Gideon would have been a Cuban. Joshua would have been a so-called Puerto Rican. You understand? Mary was the mother of Christ. She would have been a so-called Haitian. Jesus would have been a so-called Afro-American, getting pulled out his car and beat to death at a traffic stop like Tyree Nichols, or getting beat to death by the Baltimore Task Force like Freddie Gray, getting executed like Alton Sterling by Betty Shelby when they truck break down in the middle of the highway on broad daylight. Like, we are God's chosen people. And this brother right here, Charles Harrison, the father of the plastic trash can and the Master View picture toy. Get some more pieces. Tune in, like, share, subscribe, thumb it up. Your comments help drive the algorithm. Appreciate your support. ISUPK out of Virginia. Priest Captain Dr. Zakir Shah. With that, shalom.